Thank you all for chiming in today. This is the first episode of Intellectual Void. I'm your host, Kendrick Hurd. And today we're just kind of talking about what Intellectual Void is and talking about what we do here on this podcast. To start out, just a little bit about me. I'm 22 years old, graduated high school, currently going to college, or at least trying to go to college. The keyword is trying. It's kind of hard to maintain good grades when you're trying to get out of a very chaotic life. Further building on that, got out of homelessness when I was 21. Been trying to get my life on the right track, the opportunity to do something and dedicate my time to outside of everything that I need to do. So that's why I started to work on this podcast. If a person were to ask me, how would I describe myself? In all honesty, most people would say a fallen angel. Other people would say a demon rising out of hell. But my mom, she would just say a good man that doesn't know when to give up. And that kind of goes into the topic of today's first episode, which is love, family, friends, so on and so forth. Because people always tend to get the meaning of love very, very mixed up. And it's kind of sad. Love isn't just being there for somebody. It isn't just something you say or something you do or something you show. Love is unconditional. It doesn't matter if someone falls flat on their face. It doesn't matter if someone manages to get their arm cut off. Love is supposed to be unconditional, without conditions, without requirements. It's being able to have an argument and being able to sit down and at the end of the day and be like, still say I love you. Love is a choice, not an action, not a phrase, not just a word. It's a choice. And day in and day out, my mom and pop, they represent that every day. They could go from being at each other's throats to loving on each other within the same day, you know? And of course, they give each other a hard time, you know? Who wouldn't? I mean, my pops is a jokester asshole and my mom is my mom. So I can't really, you know, their personalities conflict every now and then, but also they complement each other. And I guess that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Me personally. But anyways, going into my own personal experiences though, I've always found myself showing people unconditional love before it gets reciprocated to me. I've always found myself showing up for other people and so on and so forth. And I know other people out here in the world feel the same way. Constantly showing up for people, but barely anyone shows up for you. Or no one shows up for you. And one thing we gotta accept here is that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being alone. There's nothing wrong with sometimes being isolated from other people. In my eyes, the universe does these sort of things to just test your grit, to test if you're fully capable of getting through life. And not only that, the universe tests us when we make a wish. I've wished to understand people ever since I was a kid because I never understood people, let alone myself. Then, later on, as I got older, started to continuously go through events and scenarios that forced me to understand the person before I react or anything like that. It's gotten to a point where I had my own siblings ask me, why the fuck aren't you mad? And I have to sit down and break it down to them why I'm not mad. And the reason why I'm not mad 99.9% of the time is because at the end of the day, people will do what people want to do. You could tell someone not to do something, but it's up to them whether they listen or not. You could talk and talk and talk about things you've been through and try to get people to understand the way you are, but they won't understand unless they've been through it. Similar experiences. I've learned that one. Because me and my mom has had a lot of talks about my life, and she said, your life has been so chaotic, I highly doubt any normal human being would have made it through it. I mean, to an extent, she is right, but I can't really say that is fully true. Because, in all honesty, with everything that I went through, the me that people once knew or slowly started to know, at least less than a year ago, is honestly dead, and I fully accepted it. It's just the only issue is figuring out who I am now. Parents always live for you. And that's the hard part, I guess. You know, I can't really put a finger on it when it comes to finding out who you are as a person. no matter what age, you know? Sometimes I would like to say I'm a good person, but also other times I feel like the scum of the earth. And to all those that are also going through identity crises and everything like that, it's okay. It's okay to not fully know who you are. It's okay to not fully know what you want to do in life, or the type of person you are, so on and so forth, or even reevaluating hobbies. That's okay. It's the fact of the matter that you are actually trying that's all that matters. Because there's people out here in this world that don't try to change their ways, that don't try to become better than who they are, or better than who they were yesterday. But the fact that you wake up in the morning and try and do what you need to do is a miracle, is a godsend, is fantastic. And people should appreciate that more. And not even just people should appreciate that more. You guys should appreciate that more about yourselves. Because it takes a lot of grit to not only endure things that you have been through in life, but also it takes a lot of grit and a lot of bravery and boldness to be able to stand tall with a smile on your face and still be able to keep step. We might not be like the army men and the people in our military, you know, out there fighting battles constant, like the actual wars, all right? But us as people have been fighting a war since the day that we have gained consciousness, and that is the war of life. Some of us checked out early. Other of us are still here. And the other ones that are still here but don't know what's going on, and you're still trying to figure it out, that is the most commendable thing possible. Because I can't start to tell you how many good people I have witnessed just blatantly give up or resort to drugs or resort to things that aren't healthy or even do the unforgivable. I have witnessed a lot of my friends get locked up, shot, killed, so on and so forth. And me personally, that's nothing anyone should have to bear on their shoulders. And I am deeply sorry if you have to bear that on your shoulders. There is no amount of anything that would be able to replace the feelings and the missing pieces that you guys have lost. And as a person that has lost friends, family, hell, even acquaintances, people I barely even knew but ended up getting attached to without really fully knowing I've gotten attached to, you know? There's really no easy way to describe that. There's no really easy way to get through it either. But as I said before, at the end of the day, all that matters is that you are trying, that you keep your head up, and that you keep moving, and that you're strong while you do it. And there's going to be times where you want to buckle down and cry or curl up in a ball and cry. And that's okay. And me personally, I'm not that big of a crier, but I would say, just do it. Like Nike, just do it. Cry a little bit, you know, let it out. It beats holding on to it and having it eat you up on the inside. But anyways, let me take a deep breath here. I just kind of went on a whole ass tangent, so I do apologize about that. Blah, 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 blah. Macaroni with the chicken strips, which is actually my favorite phrase. So if I come out with t-shirts that says macaroni with the chicken strips in all caps, just know who put that out there. Anyways, but I'm gonna cut this episode a little short. I'm just mainly wanted to talk about me, spit some wise words and everything like that. And I wanted to also further add that the podcast is going to start being uploaded to YouTube as of right now, and then it's going to branch out to Spotify and so on and so forth. I'm still in the process of getting everything set up. So I do apologize if this first episode is released probably sometime later, maybe a few months to a year. But I'll try cranking out episodes as fast as I can for you guys and everything like that. And Intellectual Void, I forgot this piece. I so forgot this piece. Apologize. But Intellectual Void is a podcast where I could pretty much talk about life, video games, pretty much anything I want or anything you guys want, you know? It's not just going to be led by me. It is also going to be fan-led as well. And it's kind of more or less not only an outlet for me, but also an outlet for you guys. So if this were to make it big and end up on the radio, who knows? I might be talking to my viewers and just gaining insight from my viewers or anything like that. And personally, the main thing is just bringing people together so we can learn and also just have a good time and just, be human beings without the hate, without the judgment, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care about your personal views. We could sit here and talk about racism and how you don't like a certain type of people, and I could try to get you to change your mind. We could have a full-on debate about it. And, go from there. And as a fair warning, I would tend to get into very controversial topics, but my perspective on things is far more neutral than more or less picking a side. But anyways, outside of that, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode and want to hear more ramblings, more tangents, more topics, or so on and so forth. But anyways, this is the first episode of Intellectual Void, and I will have a chat with you guys later. Ta-ta.
20. I lick my eyelid. Those days go by so fast.